On any list of things that are important to me, of course I'm going to list my family at number 1. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have been born into a family that was always willing to work hard and sacrifice to provide every opportunity for my younger brother and I to excel. My parents were very young when I was born. My mother was 19, my father was 22, and as I'm sure you can imagine, that required a great deal of change and hard work on their part. But after many years, they'd achieved enough stability, financial stability, that when the opportunity came knocking to homeschool my younger brother and I, my mother was able to sideline her career in real estate and do just that. Being homeschooled opened up a whole new world of opportunity to us. Our chosen method was called interest-driven homeschooling, and it meant that my brother and I were able to research and read about anything that caught our interest at all. And once I'd been introduced to books on that level, it was an instant love affair. Eventually, through friends with interests in history and archaeology, I was introduced to the realm of geoarchaeology, an interdisciplinary subject using the research techniques of both geology and archaeology to explore history. And it quickly became my academic passion. And it was only so long once I'd heard of geoarchaeology that I learned about the Minoan eruption of Thera, which is now called Santorini, and I was instantly fascinated by it. Ancient Greek civilization had always held a strange appeal to me, but Thera was a whole new kind of animal. I mean, what's not to find fascinating about an event that had arguably more impact on modern civilization than any other in recorded history? Evidence says that the eruption of Thera ejected 50 cubic kilometers of the ground of rock into the atmosphere, causing crop failures as far away as China, where court scribes wrote that they had been cursed by the gods and that yellow ash fell like rain upon the land. Tree rings as far away as California recorded no tree growth in the years after the eruption. The explosion itself is said to have echoed around the world 16 times and sent a tsunami 800 feet high, half the height of the World Trade Centers, into Turkey. Try and wrap your mind around that, it boggles it. It played a role in the evolution of Greek mythology. It's likely the historical aspect of biblical plagues and the Exodus story, and it's also likely the inspiration behind Plato's story of Atlantis, of a civilization that was destroyed in a single night of fire and then swallowed up by the sea. It would be roughly the equivalent of Krakatoa exploding in New York City. The Minoans were the real first empire of the world, and yet they were so utterly wiped out that no knowledge of what they even called themselves came down to us through history. If there was only one career that I could have in life, it would be to be an archaeologist working at the almost perfectly preserved Minoan port city of Akrotiri, which was discovered in 1967 by the famed archaeologist Spyridon Marinatos. I can't think of anything more interesting.